What's going on, guys? Julian here. We MMA snobs. No Jason today. Kind of wanted to get on this as fast as possible. Crazy day in the MMA world. I'm sure everyone who's watching this has seen it. First, we're going to start off with the UFC press conference that happened yesterday. Weird. They only had Joshua Van, Tatsuro Taira, Hamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland. They must have just wanted, the title fights up there. They probably knew how explosive it was going to get between Chimaev and Sean Strickland. That's why they kept it real short. I believe total face off and everything, it was just under half an hour. So really short press conference. Yeah, from the start, Chimaev and Sean, they were just at each other's necks. It Chimaev kind of going the toddler route, Wouldn't let him talk, wouldn't let him, you know, kind of get anything in. Um, but he did kind of school Sean a little bit, bringing up some things that maybe I can or can't say on this platform about, Sean's parental guidance, I'll say. And Sean seemed to get a little emotional about that, but he always does. So yeah, it was very interesting. Then they had him face off. Hamzat threw a little bit of a kick, and then Sean was trying to go at it too. There had security in there immediately, which we knew they would. But you know what? I love to see it. I love to see it. It to have back real rivalry, real hate in the UFC. This is what you want, And I had some people thinking that maybe they were playing it up. Maybe they were just trying to, make that bigger than the actual fight. Who knows how the fight's going to turn out? Might be a banger, might be boring. I could see it being both ways. I could see Hamzat make it boring. I could see Shaw making it boring. Very interesting fight. Their styles are so different. But we'll get into that a little bit later when I will join up with Jason later for a breakdown. Maybe even go over a little bit of this again. And then after that, and we will say Joshua Van, Tatsuro Taira, kind of boring. Joshua Van, he's a young kid. Me and him are the same age, 24 years old. He it's just gleaming. He done it. He's got there already. Might call it a fluke with the whole Alexander Pantoja thing, but you can't take away from him. He's an undisputed champion, and he carries himself that way. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow, but he does carry himself that way. Tatsuro Taira, he's always carried himself like a champion, very respectful, always very aware of his opponent. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. A lot of Japanese fighters do act that way. Even Kai Asakura, when he came in, I know we expect him to be something a little bit bigger, but still every fight he's thankful to be there. It might be a cultural thing, but we love to see it. I'm not the one, hating it. I do love seeing this, but it's good to see respect too. You gotta respect each other as fighters. It's tough sport. Now, moving on to a little bit of conspiracy. I don't I Me personally, I kind of lean into it a little bit. I'm kind of on the side of this conspiracy. So if I got any conspiracy theorists in the comments, let me know. Hamzat did not make weight. And I'm gonna say that right here, right now. Hamzat did not make weight. That bar was still moving when the commissioner said, "Oh, 185." You cannot tell me he was confused that he made it. He was confused that he made 185. He walked in there, looked dejected, terrible, looked terrible. Might be the most dejected we've ever seen him, which is insane considering the fact he's fought at 170 before. I know he has medical issues, he has, all these issues, but the fact that he can even make 188.5 now is tough. He even said that he's eyeing 205 after if he wins this fight. He's eyeing 205. So it's definitely a weird case for sure. We've seen this before though. We have seen this. It's not unheard of. I would say it's more unheard of in a championship setting than anything. And I just gotta say it. I gotta be the one to say it. Dana could not let this main event fall through. He doesn't care how much he has to pay to commission. He doesn't call me a conspiracy theorist, call me whatever. It could have been Hunter. It could have been Hunter. It could have been Dana. It could have been whoever. But they were not going to let this fight fall through, especially with all leading up to it, the conference, all of that, whatever you want to call it. They're not going to let this fight fall through. So, with that being said, he did not make weight. I would even venture to say he's probably like 187 in this picture. 187, maybe 186, 186 and a half. They didn't even take the shorts off, nothing. And DC even said it. He was like, "Oh, they're not going to give him the thing. Oh, those shorts probably weigh a pound, so he's 184 right now. He don't look 184 because he's not. He is not. So take it how you will. You know, some might say being too much of a conspiracy theorist. Some are right on board with this. I've seen a lot of people that are right on board with this. I do not think he made weight in the slightest. And if I'm Sean, I'm pissed. I am pissed. We'll see how it turns out, but you cannot convince me that he made weight. And then we had the press conference today for UFC Freedom White House card. Um, it was a decent card, card. It was a decent press conference. I liked it. It kind of felt like one of those older press conferences where everyone's kind of talking, going back and forth. There's some respect shown, not a lot of trash talk. Um, a lot of confidence. Everyone's gleaming with confidence, which of course, you have Bo Nickel talk about how everyone hates on him, and but they're still gonna tune into his fights. I gotta admit, I'm one of those people. I used to hate on him. He's kind of winning me back now, after the RDR loss, and he kind of came back and is trying to reinvent himself. I know he's still a can crusher, still fighting cans, but he's getting better. The striking's coming along a little bit better. Obviously, head kick KO. I know, like I said, can, but still, you can't take away that head kick KO from him, and he's getting better. He's evolving. So hopefully he can really turn it up, and we'll see how this fight goes. And then you have this idiot on the left here, this absolute fucking dummy who they allow to show up to this shit. In case you can't tell, don't care for Josh Oaken. I understand what he's trying to do for the sport. I'm not saying it's bad for the sport. It's good. But when it's so obvious you can tell it's fake, it doesn't make me be like, oh yeah, here's a character. No, it makes me think, what is this fucking clown doing? And and people will look past that just to say, oh great, we have someone stirring the pot back. No, we've had characters who stir the pot. Look at Sean and Shemaev. They actually hate each other. They actually stir the pot. Sean doesn't play a character. Everything he says, he thinks. I might not agree with some of the things he fucking says. Probably a lot of things he fucking says. But regardless, that's what he actually thinks. I can respect that more than this clown who doesn't even know what mantra he wants to do. Garbage. It is worse than Colby Covington. Colby Covington, same thing, fake, so I didn't like it. But at least with Colby, he stuck to one thing. And you can at least tell he kind of like leaned into it so far where he does kind of believe the words that he's saying. Josh Hokett, not the case. Not the case at all. He doesn't believe what he's saying. He doesn't even know what he's saying sometimes. He wants to talk shit. And mind you, he's talking shit to Alex Pereira, who will knock him chama. He'll knock him the fuck out. Cold. Easily. The fight will not be close. And if anyone comes in the comments saying, oh, well, the wrestling, Josh Hokett, the wrestling, Alex Pereira has a real problem with that. Tell that type of lie we knocked out in the first round. Don't want to hear that shit. Josh Hokett gets absolutely starched by Pereira. Anyways, talk shit to Pereira. And then Ilya Taporia, because he's bilingual. He can speak, I believe he speaks Spanish, German, and English. I believe that's what it is, or it might be Spanish, Russian. I forget. I know he lived in Germany, families from Georgia, and then now obviously in Spain, but I forget exactly how that works. But anyways, He picks up on it and tells him, how dare you come at this man who can't doesn't even understand what you're saying. And Josh Hoke, oh, now, hook, line, and sinker. Oh, I got him. Oh, shut up, you Spanish fuck. You should speak English in this country. All all of that shit. And Ilya's like, fuck it, I'll go down right now. Let's go. We're down. We're going. And it's just so stupid to me. You could tell Sean, who we know, Sean O'Malley knows how to play a character sometimes. Sean is a funny character in himself. I love Sean. He is also good for the sport. But even him, you could tell he looks annoyed in this picture because he's like, what are we doing, dude? You have Josh Hokett trying to fight a guy twice as small as him. And you know what? I think Ilya still would find a way to his chin. All right, that might be a little bit extra, but still, it's the meaning behind it. It's just stupid. And then you had Alex stand up. Crowd goes nuts because they think Alex is gonna do something to him, and Alex, he kind of seemed like he was just trying to be the mediator, like calm down, guys, we got it. Um, and then yeah, that was pretty much it. So the it was a nice couple days, very entertaining. Will it live up to the hype? Will tomorrow live up to the hype? I'm actually taking off down to Jersey tomorrow. Go watch. Um, we're gonna be making the video tonight, trying to get it out tonight. Might come in the morning, whatever the case may be. I think we're gonna go back to the main problem at hand here. I think based on the emotion in this main event, watch out for Sean here. It seems like whenever you get those emotions going, it's a little bit too much for him. Drickus did it. Um, it seems like if you can get to Sean's emotions, you're probably gonna beat him. Izzy couldn't do it. Yeah, and we've seen how that went. Fluffy couldn't do it. We've seen how that went. It might just be styles too. It's just a little bit of controversy, just a little bit of a you know theory out there. But if you start to go back and kind of look at these press conferences, it kind of adds up. So yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Love to see hate back in the UFC. Just wanted to give you guys a little update of what's going on. Um, Me and Jason about to go make this breakdown for you, and then we'll see you guys later. Peace.